We had traveled to many countries before, and today we want to compare those trips.
First, I want to introduce my trip to Thailand. One of the most fun parts of the trip was seeing the elephants. I think riding an elephant was very fun because it was my first time doing it. We also got to watch the elephant, which I thought was very cute. The second fun place was the safari. There were many animals inside, like giraffes, zebras, and camels. We even got to feed a baby tiger and take a picture with it. However, the boring part of the trip was the floating market. While we were on the boat, we had to waiting a long time because the entrance to the market was very small and many boats wanted to go in. Another problem was that when I wanted to buy something from another boat, it passed by too quickly, so I couldn't buy anything. The only downside of the trip was the weather. It was extremely hot.
Then I want to talk about our trip to Japan. I love the food there very much. For example, I often eat soda noodles in Taiwan. When I went to Japan, I wanted to eat soda noodles every day. Also, the crabs there were very delicious. They were sweet and enormous. I also love anime merchandise very much. Japan sells a lot of second-hand anime merchandise, so the prices are very low. At first, we were worried that the second-hand anime merchandise might be dirty or even broken. Fortunately, all the anime merchandise was in good condition. However, it kept raining in Japan, so we always needed to bring an umbrella. We were all wet from head to toe, which was very uncomfortable. Also, Universal Studios was not really for us. We were in an awkward age for it. Some of the attractions were too exciting, while others were too boring. None of them were exactly suitable for us. Maybe we can go back when we are older.
Third, I want to introduce my trip to Australia. The first fun place we visited was a wildlife park. It's a kind of zoo where we could hug a koala and feed kangaroos. Right now, I am talking about this trip and remembering how fun it was. The guide also introduced the animals' habits, and we learned a lot. The second fun place was Natural Bridge National Park. We went there at night and saw many glowworms. Do you know the difference between glowworms and fireflies? Glowworms can fly and usually live near the South Pole, while fireflies can fly and live near the North Pole. I will also tell my friends about this trip when I go back to school. However, the Australia trip also had some boring parts. For example, I found the Sydney Opera House boring. I think it is just something to look at, and there is nothing much to do there, so I did not find it interesting. The second boring place was Phillip Island. I had been looking forward to seeing the penguins because I really like them, but when I got there, the penguins were very far away, and there were so many people blocking my view that I could only see a little bit of them. We had been traveling for a long time to get there, but in the end, I only saw a few penguins, so overall, I thought it was boring.
Lastly, I want to talk about our trip to Palau. This trip was very different from the other trips we've been on. We spent the whole day in the sea and saw many unique sea creatures. We even played with the sharks and fed them. Of course, the sharks were smaller than the ones we usually see in aquariums. We had fresh seafood for lunch, and it tasted amazing. We rested on an island and enjoyed our lunch while admiring the beautiful view. That's one of the reasons I love this trip so much. However, since we had a schedule, we couldn't stay longer than what we had planned. I wanted to spend more time watching the sea creatures, but the boat would leave if we did that. We also had to wear a lot of equipment to protect ourselves. But the equipment was too heavy for us and also very hot, which made us feel uncomfortable.
Do you know what my favorite trip is? You're right, my favorite trip is the Palau trip because I like swimming and seeing sea creatures.
Now, do you know which is my favorite trip? You're right, it's Palau. I really love the unique sea creatures and the delicious seafood. If you ever have a chance to take a 5-day trip, I think Palau would be your best choice.
It's over today!
See you next time. Bye.